So glad you're here today, and I thank you for your time, my love.
You're
Alan,
welcome.
I want to talk to you today about where your life was at a couple months ago, what
Mm,
you were feeling, where you were, what your stuckies were that you were going through, and what has transformed, what has transpired for you since the cohort. So let's start with where you were at a couple months ago.
So before I met you, I was doing COVID contact tracing for work in St. Pete, and I was just not feeling like I was getting anywhere, and it wasn't for me long term. So I wanted to, I felt like I needed the next thing, and I didn't necessarily know what I wanted to make that next thing. And that's why I joined your course. And I was feeling a little lost, I guess, in direction. And but I know I wanted to do something with like eventually I still want to work with the environment because that's what I was working in before, like ecology, because that's like a one big passion of mine, and I think that's what's needed right now. But a reality check is that the pay isn't there. So unfortunately, that's what I was adapting to. That's why I was in COVID work and not biology, like animals and wildlife. So I was already like off my passion. I wasn't, I was like tangent to it, but not on it. So that was like one thing that I was missing, I guess, was a passion.
And so what happened to you when you came to the cohort? What did you learn? What were you learning about yourself, most importantly?
I was allowing myself to be open to other opportunities and not be like, oh, this is what I'm doing right now and this is what I'm doing. So
Mhm.
I had already given up on moving on. Like I had already accepted moving on. And I think your course helped me with that process.
What does that look like for you? What were you starting to identify?
I really love to dance. That's like something that's always kept me sane, to be honest.
Mm.
It brings me back to my body and keeps me like aware and focus on my breathing and movement. It just brings me in the now. And that's what I was living in the future, and I needed to be brought down. That's where I was. That's what your class helped me find.
That's so cool. So what from the course did
Mhm.
you transpired for you? What are you doing now? What are you pursuing now in your life or what?
Now, I still honestly don't necessarily know what I'm doing. I'm
Cool.
working on towards doing performance art full time, but that takes a long time, to be honest. So I have been trying to find like freelance gigs. And at first I was looking for data analyst gigs, but I don't think I met the qualifications that a lot of the people were looking for. So I started to go back to school again for that program because the
Oh,
city of
good.
Miami is offering free tuition. They're paying for school for any tech degree. Yeah, at Miami-Dade College.
Wow.
So I signed up for two courses this semester, and I actually found out that I did a certificate while I was working for COVID contact
I
tracing.
remember that.
Yeah, the Google Data
Google
Analytics,
data, yeah.
and that counted for three classes. So yeah, that's
That's
nice. And I'm already more than a quarter of a way through my program for just a 2-year program. So I'm gonna try sticking to this. And my friend who's in the tech world says that the certificate is good if you have experience, but a degree is needed to break in.
yeah.
So that's what I was finding.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so still am like trying to figure out what I'm doing with money wise. So I found production in parties to be an avenue. I I was part of the decor team for Rolling Loud, which is one of the biggest hip hop festivals,
Correct.
yeah, in the world. And it's here in Miami. And I was on the decor team. I worked there 3 weeks. I also volunteered one day to go to this pop-up show at a skate park by 3 Points. And through that, I met some people who are going to do trainings for general audiovisual technician,
Mm,
so lighting and sound. And he's doing the trainings next week for free to like train us. And he uses those trainings to book us for his work.
that's
So
fantastic.
yeah, it's really coming together, but patience has had to be there because it's been, let's see, I left my job in March and it is now August. And
That's okay.
I live in Miami, so it's a little more expensive, but money's coming in slowly. So that's a good thing.
But you know what, Alan, what's most important from what you just discussed is that you're on a path. You got in a lane on a
Mhm.
path towards the journey that you want to be on. You're taking action now, taking actionable steps to achieve what you want to. Once you get this degree with
Yeah.
what you did at Google, with what you did before in the data analytics, then you
Mhm.
could put it all together with the story that we had discussed,
Yeah,
and boom. Data analytics, it's a dime a dozen in terms of jobs.
exactly.
Then it's just
And
finding out what you
freelance
want to
jobs
do.
too. You could just like pop in, pop out, or even like 20, 30 hours a week, like part-time jobs that they do all the time.
Exactly. And make
That,
good money at it.
yeah. And that's what I need. I need the flexibility and schedule for my performances because my performances are gonna be like on the weekends or at night. So my sleep schedule is like night out.
Yeah. And Alan, remember, this is the summer in Miami. So no big events, no,
Oh yeah. August is
concerty
the
thing.
lowest
Yeah.
of them all.
So if you know that now and you
Mhm.
gear up with your marketing and what, start to get it out of what events are coming up in New York, like down in Miami with,
Mhm.
start to put that out there. It's a numbers game. The more feelers you put out there, you get one or two, then it starts to snowball. That's all
Yeah.
you need because I've seen you do your thing. And
Mhm.
as you know, it is it's beyond impressive.
Thank you, Deborah.
How's it going with social media with regarding around it, like what you've been posting and stuff?
It's been good, not great, but it's coming together too. It's the consistency that's the hardest part of like creating content all the time. I get
Yeah,
tired of it, to be honest,
yeah,
but I gotta do it.
wow. You got to do it, find different locations, get people engaged, interview people that say, oh my God, that was the greatest thing I've ever seen, and do a boomerang thing. Like there's so much you can do,
Yeah.
you just need to go out there and do it. And, with regard to like Third Nature,
Hmm.
the reason why I wanted you to come because there's a plethora of people that do events. That girl, Taylor Harrington, she's on the list. She does events in New York, for like 20 something. I mean, you're perfect for that. You should go on the Third Nature. Are you part of the newsletter?
Yes, I am. Mhm.
Okay. So you see they either put jobs or stuff are out there, or then there's a community hub on the newsletter and
Uh-huh.
just say, guys, this is Allan Gonzalez. Remember I did your thing. If there's
Mhm.
anybody out there that's putting on events or parties, I'd love to come and be entertainment.
Yeah, that sounds like
It's
a
right in front of you, Alan.
I have applied to another grant recently for something called Art with Me. And
Ooh,
it's a festival in November. And it's all about like dance, play, just like enjoying a good time at Virginia Key. So I submitted a proposal and I had to come up with I came up with a theme and I have to come up with 4 choreographies for the show. They're gonna be like 30 seconds to a minute choreographies. There's not gonna be like giant, but it'll still be good to have some routines because I've never really done that before.
Oh, Alan, I love all the things I'm hearing. I'm hearing a very different Alan that is taking initiative, is
Mhm,
going out there, is being patient with himself, but definitely leaning into where you want to go.
Definitely. I've met a bunch of the party scene here and then I've been putting out my feelers. So it's been good. I had another dancing gig in in July in Fort Lauderdale. So that was
July next year?
no, this past July.
Oh,
I
you
had
did it. You did one. Oh, that's great.
after New
How,
Year.
what was the response to that?
It was good. So it was actually go-go dancing and not necessarily with my staff because there wasn't enough space there. It
That's so fun.
was a lot of fun. Yeah. I've
There's
gotten
so,
multiple comments about how like I was like really good at the dancing and one of the best ones of the night. So I was like, oh, they keep on asking me, "Oh, are you going back?" And I was like, "Yeah, I will be."
oh, Alan, that'd be amazing. Did you get any of that recorded with what they said?
Not with I have snapshots, screenshots.
All right. I'm just giving you some feedback.
Mhm,
Please, when you're doing your staff thing, if you've
mhm,
got a friend or you've got Hugo or somebody with you,
mhm.
have them go around, say, what does this feel like to you? Are you feeling, oh my God, I'm feeling euphoria, I'm feeling whatever. You've got to create these, emotional experiences for what you do and then put that on social media.
Mm,
The static thing for what you do is such movement and flow and
yeah.
emotional. You've got to capture that moving forward. And don't be afraid to give the camera to someone or after, just say, hey, could you record? I'm going to be doing this. Can you just get people's expressions and things?
Mhm. That's always a good one. Getting their
Yeah.
expressions.
You sound great. Also, Al, just to tell you, there's this thing called Tree Sources in Miami. It's a
Mhm.
company, and I don't know if they need data analytics, but it's all about the culture. They're the ones that lay down all these plants and stuff.
I'm gonna look them up right now.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah.
sustainable plants for the design district and for Wynwood.
Oh wow. Okay.
And apparently there's a rooftop. I'm just working with a client right now, and she's an architecture student person, but she just actually gave her 2-week notice. I don't know if they need any data analytics people, but it sounds like that's kind of what she was doing, even though she's an
Mhm.
architecture student, you got to put the data like where do the trees need to go? Where, how many trees do we need to buy? How much are they? All
Yeah.
that kind and it falls into your sustainability deal.
It does. Yeah. Well, it was called Tree Source.
I think it was called Tree Sources in Miami,
Tree Source.
but look that up.
Okay.
And I'll get the actual name. I think that's what it was called though, Tree Sources, Tree Source. Yeah. And, it's all about sustainability, going out into like ocean reefs and finding out the coral, like everything that you're about.
Mm-hmm. It sounds great. Those places that I'm hoping that the like data analysts there make more than the field technicians, but I'm sure they're still underpaid compared to other
They are.
analysts, you know.
Can I ask you, how much were you making on the other job?
COVID contact tracing was 25 an hour.
Oh, to be honest with you, this was 22 an hour.
And then before that, I was at 18 an hour.
So fucking
So it's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
just got to tell you, that's why she was like, It was a lot of work. I mean, even though she loved being in that environment, it was so fun and interesting, but a lot of work
It
for,
burns you out because you can't even enjoy life afterward because you don't even have the like capacity to go out, and
yeah,
in the city or without worrying about something. It's like,
yeah.
uh,
But I'm so happy for you, Alan, that, so where are you feeling, just to wrapping this up,
mm,
where are you at in your life? Like where, I know we kind of discussed it, but if you could identify who you are and where you want to go, what would you say to yourself right now?
I guess looking back,
Mm,
it's I have made a lot of steps to go in the direction that I have wanted to go. It I have come across a bunch of like speed humps, to be honest.
Sure.
But I'm still riding the road, riding the journey, And that sometimes I really don't want to do it anymore. But then I think about what do I want to do? And then it's like obviously that.
That's
So that
exactly
just
right.
gets me back to go back at it.
Very, very good. No, you're meant to be doing what you love to do, but then it's your job to let people know that you exist.
Hmm.
It's just, it's one of those professions with the staff
Yeah,
that they're not gonna come to you necessarily because they may not even know that you kind of exist. And it's
yeah,
your job to let them know that you do.
for
So
sure.
that's
You have to
where,
show.
yeah, and it's a little bit getting out of your comfort zone, I know, around
Hmm.
that. And again, when put into position like summer camp, it'd be
Hmm.
great to show video, like, I remember you guys fondly. If anybody's doing events, parties, get-togethers, please consider me, da 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 da.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll look into the community hub.
Yeah, absolutely. Alan, thank you so much for coming on today. You are the best. It was so
Thanks for
much
having
fun to
me.
have you, and just keep up the good work. You will get there.
Thank you. I appreciate it.